Hello, class. We now come to sections 9.4 through 9.7, converting English measurements using dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis, also called unit analysis or factor label, is a way of converting between units, like converting from miles to kilometers, in such a way that you never have to worry about when to multiply and when to divide. It is probably one of the most useful techniques you will learn in this class, especially if you ever have to take a science course such as chemistry or physics. Dimension analysis works a lot like multiplication of fractions. Recall the following fraction multiplication problem. We have 5/8 times 3/5. We will be applying the same idea to units below. We're going to scroll down. Here's how it works. Let's take a look at the different measurements of time. We know 1 day is equal to 24 hours, 1 hour is 60 minutes, 1 minute is 60 seconds, and so on. Using the chart above, suppose you wanted to find out how many minutes there are in a day. But before we do this, let's realize something here. Whenever we have values that are equal to each other, if we put them into a fraction, say we had 1 day all over 24 hours. Now we know these are the same, so they will equal 1. Technically, we did not change this problem. 1 day and 24 hours are the same thing. And the same thing is 1 hour and 60 minutes, 1 minute and 60 seconds. Because they are the same, if they're put in fractional form, they will equal 1. Now let's scroll down here. Here are the steps for converting units. To convert the units of a quantity, 1. Write the quantity in the original units. 2. Multiply by fractions equal to 1 so that the units you want to eliminate appear in one numerator and one denominator. Now this goes back to what I said here about when they are the same, if they're divided, they equal 1. So if we were to multiply 1 day over 24 hours by a number, we know that's really multiplied by 1 and is not changing the problem. So we scroll down here. Now, we do have this here. It says, now we can begin converting days to minutes by changing days to hours and hours to minutes. So we have 1 day over 1 multiplied by is 24 hours in 1 day and multiplied by 60 minutes in 1 hour. Now, if you notice, whatever we're trying to solve for, we're trying to solve for minutes. So we need to get rid of days. So when we write days here, we make sure that it is in the denominator so they will simplify out. We do the same thing with hours to get to our minutes. Now, this is shown more expressly here. You notice day and day simplifies out, hours and hours simplify out. And then the only thing you will be left with is this minutes here. So we'll have 1 times 24 times 60. So we'll have 1 times 24 times 60. Now that will be in our numerator. Now our denominator is 1 times 1 times 1. And we know that this ends in minutes in our numerator. I'll abbreviate here. Now 1 times 24 is 24, and then times 60. You know this will end with a 0. We will have 24, carry our 2. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 2 is 14. So it'll be 1,440 over 1. We know this is minutes. So our final answer here is 1,440 minutes. So we converted 1 day to how many minutes we have in 1 day. Now we scroll down here. It says, notice that the only unit that has not been divided out is minutes. Remember that when you multiply fractions, you multiply straight across the top and straight across the bottom. Examples, using the conversion chart below, convert each measurement as indicated. Now this chart is provided in your notes. So we're going to start here with number 1. It says 84 inches to feet. So we want to change inches to feet. So let's start off with the 84 inches. We could put that over 1. Multiply it by. Now we want to see if there's a measurement here that changes inches to feet. Now we look here. 1 foot is 12 inches. So we want to write this as feet. So we know our inches will go in the denominator. It's 12 of them. And our numerator would be the feet. It's 1 foot. 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Now we simplify it. These inches simplify out. So 84 times 1 foot is 84 feet. And here we have 1 times 12, which is 12. Now 84 divided by 12 is 7. So our final answer here is 7 feet. Okay, now we go over to problem number 2. We have 60 ounces to pounds. So we know we start off with our 60 ounces. Let me draw this little line here. We have our 60 ounces divided by 1, multiplied by. Now we have to see if there's anything up here that has ounces and pounds together, which we have here under weight. 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. So we know the 16 ounces will go in our denominator, and then 1 pound will go in our numerator. Now we can simplify. These ounces will simplify out, and you will have 60 pounds all over 16. Now, if you take your calculator, which I'm going to pull up here, if you take your calculator, we could take 60 divided, well, actually, we don't want to use this as a decimal. We could simplify this. 60 and 16, they both have 4 in common. So we'll divide the numerator and denominator by 4. And we will end up with, let me scroll down a little bit here. So we need a little bit more room. 60 divided by 4 is 15. And 16 divided by 4 is 4. And that's 5/15 pounds. 15/4 pounds. Okay, so this is your final answer. Now, we go down here to problem number 3. We had 12.5 feet to inches. Now, we already did an inches to feet, so we could do this feet to inches. So first, let's take this 12.5 and make it into an improper fraction. We know our denominator will still remain 2. 12 times 2 is 24, plus 1 is 25. So it'll be 25 over 2 feet. Now we're going to multiply this. Now we want to go from feet to inches. So we know inches will be in our numerator and feet will be in our denominator. Now remember, for 1 foot is 12 inches. These feet will simplify out, and you will have 25 times 12, which is 300, all over 2. So it's 300 inches over 2, which give you 150 inches. Now, that took care of this problem here. I want to separate it from number 4. So this will give you 150 inches. Now we come here to number 4. We have 11 cups to pints. So now we start off with 11 cups. We could put that over 1, multiplied by, now let's see here. Do we have anything that talks about pints and cups? Yes. We have 1 pint is equal to 2 cups. So we know our 2 cups goes in our denominator, and our 1 pint goes in our numerator. Now these cups will simplify out, and 11 times 1 is 11, and that'll be 11 pints. And 1 times 2 is 2. So it'll be 11 half pints. And that will be your final answer for number 4. Now, we go down here to example 5. We have 100 feet is equal to blank yards and feet. Now, you have the chart. I cannot show the chart at the same time I'm doing this. So what I need to do is change these feet first to yards. So What I would do here, I will go off to the side. We have 100 feet. We take that over 1. Now it tells you here, up in your chart, that 3 feet is equal to 1 yard. Now these feet will simplify out, and you have 100 yards over 3. Now this is what you would do. To find out how many yards you have, what you would do is this here. You would say 100 divided by 3. 3 goes into 100, and I know you have a calculator. 3 goes into 10 3 times, and 3 goes into 10 3 times. So you have a remainder of 3. Now, actually, no, that's supposed to be 1. So it's a remainder of 1. Simple mistake, it was caught. Okay, so that means we have 33 yards, and we know our remainder, we will have our remainder as, it'll be 1/3. So now we would need to change this 1/3 yards back to feet. Now to change this back to feet, remember, yards will go in the denominator. It takes 3 feet to equal 1 yard. So these yards will simplify out, and 1 times 3, we know it's 3, and 3 times 1 is 3. So this would be 3 over 3 feet. So this would be 1 feet. So it'll be 33 yards and 1 foot. Okay, now we go to problem number 6. We have 4 gallons, 1 quart to quarts. So what we need to do is, we just need to change gallons to quarts and then add on this 1 more quart. Okay, so now we would take 4 gallons, and what we know we will have down here is 1 gallon, and I believe it's 4 quarts and 1 gallon. Let me go back up here and check just to be sure. We go back up here to the chart. 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts, just like I had said. So now we need to go back down here to finish off this problem. So now we have 4 gallons times 4 quarts over 1 gallon. So the gallons will simplify out, and we know 4 times 4 is 16, and that'll be 16 over 1 quarts. 16 over 1, we know is 16. So it'll be 16 quarts plus the 1 quart we had here. And that will give us 17 quarts. And that will be your final answer there. Okay, now we scroll down here. Okay, we have operations with units. It says perform the indicated operations. So now we have an addition problem here. Let's first add or subtract before we do anything. 12 plus 9 is 21. And 7 plus 11 is 18. So it should be 2 feet, 18 inches. Now this is a little mistake here, so you don't have to write this. So it's 2 feet, 18 inches. Now, we have 21 feet, 18 inches. What we need to do is change these inches to feet. Now we know it's 12 inches in a foot. So all we have to do, 18 minus 12, we know that will leave us 6 inches. So we would take the 1 foot and add it to this 21 feet. So our final answer will be 22 feet, 6 inches. Now, we go down here, we go to the next number, which is 14 feet, 8 inches minus 3 feet, 11 inches. Now, we know we cannot subtract 11 from 8, so we're going to have to borrow 1 from this 14. So we borrow 1 from the 14, and that becomes 13 feet.